Shalom, shalom. Brakta Yahweh Shem Yahushua Bashem Kakadash. All praise to the Most High Yahweh. In the name of the Son Yahushua. I'm gonna just get right into this. I'm make this topic. I guess it'll be about judgment because I'm seeing it a lot amongst our people. So I'm gonna get into one of the types. Let me say it slow because a lot of people, a lot of our people don't pay attention to words nor read to understand. One of the types of judgments that are going on right now, right? As Jacob's trouble, as they turning up the thermostat, if you will, and what a lot of people have been dealing with. I'm gonna really say since COVID, because that's when they really turned the oven up to 350. They ain't even on 375 yet, the reheat temperature yet. They just on 350, right? So I'm gonna get into one of those types of judgments, and we're gonna go from there, right? Now remember, the righteous, those of us who didn't delay returning to the Most High, right? And I can tell you this, like a lot of other prophets and disciples, those who the Most High is dealing with. Everybody say, "Oh, I'm in the truth," or "I'm doing this," but that don't mean that the Lord is dealing with you. Remember, part of that prophecy and commandment says people gonna come to me saying, "Lord, Lord, I cast out men in your name." They're gonna be calling out, "Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Shah, I've done this," and he gonna say, "Man, depart from me, bro. I don't know you." So you can know a person. You probably knowing that from back in the day dealing with gossip during high school. A person could know you, but you don't know them. But they got your name constantly in their mouth. You don't even know who they are. Everything they saying is wrong. Oh yeah, I know this person. They live over here, and you be like, "Bro, I don't know you." Where you think we get that from? That's what the Lord gonna say. I'm saying that to say this. Um, those of us who the Most High is dealing with, and you will be able to know through discernment and matching up the prophecies. We didn't delay our coming to Him. Some people have known, well, I've known we the Hebrew people, and I've known this for, I don't know, example, 15 years, 10 years, 2010, 15, 17. But like most people on the earth, like the prophecy states, they delayed their returning to Him until when stuff hits the fans, or until what you call tribulation. I'll use COVID for an example. Most people then return or try to even seek or then understand like, oh, until when everybody lost their job, they couldn't drive, the stores were shut down. Then everyone, and I'm saying this from experience, then everyone wanted to call us. They wanted to text us. They wanted to reach out. They wanted to meet with us. They wanted to do this. But where were they in 2010, 2011, 15, 18, 2009? Where were they then? That's what the Most High is saying. Remember, He said, when your calamity comes, right? Calamity means destruction, right? Destruction can mean your destruction of your home, right? Your house, your car, your job, your life, your wife, your husband. That's destruction. Meaning, He said, when that comes, I'ma laugh. Why? Because when I called, you didn't answer. I first called you back then, and you delayed, right? So I'm going to get into some of these judgments, well, one of them right now, which I've noticed the last few months that a lot of our people are dealing with, and they don't understand it. But we all mentioned breaking generational curses. Well, there's one that we all have to break immediately because the Most High is about order, and it got to deal with our parents. You have to break that. Look, if they didn't, I don't want the platform to get dinged. If they didn't sexually assault you, man, you need to forgive them and move on, right? Because I'm gonna get into the one of these scriptures. As a matter of fact, let me just get right into it now, right? 1 Peter 4:17, right? Now I'm gonna roughly paraphrase it because y'all can see it, right? It says, "Judgment shall start at the house." It says the house of God, meaning judgment shall start at the house of Israel, because it's the house of Israel. The Most High is the ultimate parent, right? You leave and go to work. Hey, don't have nobody in my house. You come back, all the neighborhood children in your house. When you pull that belt out, who you gonna hit first? Your own child. Why? Because you know better. You know my rules. You know you ain't supposed to be jumping up down on the couch doing this, doing it, etc. Right? Same with the Most High. Y'all know the law. I gave it to y'all. I didn't give it to them. They don't know the rules of my house. They heathens. So technically, they can do whatever they want. But you know better. That's why He's doing it. And a lot of people don't understand that because our fathers were not in our houses growing up, right? All praise to the Most High. The mine was, but a lot of they weren't. So they don't understand authority. And so even the daughters and the sons that were raised under those single mothers, they don't understand authority. They just understand emotional decisions made by the woman. So let's get right into that, all right? As a matter of fact, let me get there so people don't think I'm roughly paraphrasing. Like, I think that's, Malachi, right? Malachi 3, right? So the righteous, I'm just skip past to get right to it. Malachi 3 and 18. Then ye shall return. So this is a prophecy for the end times. The Israelites, us, not the world, not the church, not Pentecostals or Baptists or none of that. The Israelites going to return, and we're going to be able to discern between the righteous and the wicked. We're going to have discernment. So a lot of people come to us, we're going to be like, oh, well, that's judgment, right? Well, no, that ain't judgment. The Lord is preparing me for this. No, he's also judging you. Because if you're going through tribulations, that's judgment. That don't mean you ain't going to come out of it. He ain't going to have mercy or you're not going to get through it. But we just letting you know he judging you. Right? And there's a difference between judgments and burdens. I've had Israelites try to, say some stuff or lay some stuff on me. Well, lay one another's burdens upon each other. Yeah, burdens means heavy load. That means you can help your fellow brothers and sisters out, family members, all that, through their burdens if the load is a little too heavy. But you are not responsible for their judgments. Their judgments are theirs, right? And then what the Lord say, he going to return and give every man their judgment according to their works. The word there is T-H-E-I-R. That means, no, that's their judgments. That's that sister's judgments. That's not yours. Just because that's your best friend or Ace Boone Coon, that's her judgment. You can, help her through it, but those are not her burdens. Burdens means a heavy load. Okay, let me take that off your hands real quick. I got that. Let me remove that worry. Let me remove that stress. But if they being judged, the righteous that you see here, we're going to be able to discern that. Matter of fact, that's not even the one I wanted. The one I wanted is in Proverbs. So stay with me for a sec so I can get right into this. And I'm going to get on the parents. Yeah, there it is right there. Proverbs 2 and 9. Right? So after we return, he says, then shall you understand righteousness and judgment, right? And iniquity, and every good path. So we're going to be able to discern like, oh, that person just going through trials, tribulations. Oh no, that person going through judgment, right? It's a discernment. You're going to be able to be like, man, that's a good brother. That's a good dude. He just dealing with a little something right there. That's fine. That's a good sister. She just da-da-da. Or, well, now, sister, like, look what you did. That's judgment. The Lord's still judging you, right? That's discernment. You got to be able to decipher between, right? And everyone doesn't have that. Now, let me get into what a lot of us are dealing with right now, right? This is in Ecclesiasticus chapter 3. So when I said it's about our parents, right? And I felt like you have to forgive them. This is also why the Most High tells us to be fruitful and multiply. I'm going to roughly paraphrase, but this is in the book of the Wisdom of Solomon, right? He talks about part of the reason why he wanted us to have children. He'll say, now you understand why I'm so forgiving to y'all. How many of us, you give your child a whooping, and then we walk back in there, right? Black parents, for sure. We walk back in there and, all right, later on, are you hungry? All right, well, we'll put your shoes on. We finna go to that park down the street that you wanted to go to. That's how we say we sorry. We still had to whoop them, but the Most High says, now you understand why I'm so forgiving to y'all. And the Most High loves us so much that he don't even whoop us himself, right? The scriptures say he uses the other nations as a whipping stick for us. Like a parent, man, that hurt us every time we get that belt out and knock your children across the back. That hurts, but it must be done. The Most High loves us so much that he's like, I can't do it. I can't whoop my children myself. He said, I'm going to return to my throne, to my resting place, and I'm going to let the other nations do it. And he turned his head. I'm going to turn my eyes away. I can't even see you take a lick. That's how much I love you. But you still need to have your butt whooped, so I'm going to let them do it for breaking my law and my covenant, right? So this is part of the reason why he tells us, look, you need to have children so you can understand If your parents didn't do XYZ, you need to forgive them because I forgive you. We going to get to this and read it, but if you don't forgive your parents, the Most High does not even hear your prayers. So if you talking bad about your mama, your daddy, and all that, but then you going to go in the closet and pray, the Most High ain't hearing none of that. And that's why your prayers haven't got answered. Let's get to it. Sirach 3, we'll go to verse 2, right? For Yahweh have given the father honor over the children. Satan knows that. So what he do? 50s and 60s. Get that man out the house. There's no order in the house. There's no structure. I don't care how big, bad of a woman you think you are. If it ain't no man in the house, a righteous man, there's no order. There's no structure. When a man, a righteous man is absent, then Satan is present. That is a fact. That's in the scriptures. I don't care how. I got my own house, car, apartment. I don't care. If he's not there, then Satan is present. And the correct decisions, they're not going to be made. You might think they're being made, but they're not, right? Let's keep going. For Yahweh have given the father honor over the children and had confirmed the authority, right, of the mother over the sons, because there's order. There's the Most High Yahweh. There's Lord Yahushua. There's man, woman, child, then your cats and your dogs. But see, a lot of y'all have replaced the man and even children, and you got a house full of animals. Yes, you have children. They say, well, yeah, I'm a dog mom. All right, they start naming their pets. Or there's no man there, and they have a child and 2 or 3 cats. See, it's all out of order, right? Keep going. Right? Whoso honored his father, make an atonement for his sins. So you still got to honor your parents. And part of honoring your parents is, this goes into Ezekiel chapter 18, especially your father. Let's say if your father was wicked, right? And you're not. That's still honoring your father because you're breaking the generational curse. So when you have a child, you've removed the sins of your father. Not sitting around talking about him. Well, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. You don't know what your father has done to make sure you ate every night. He probably could have borrowed $20, $30 from a person he ain't even like. You'll never know that. You was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months old, 2 years old. You don't even remember it, right? Verse 3. And he that honored, right, his mother is one that layeth up treasure. You ain't supposed to be talking about her either. We've all had things we be like, man, my mama used to do this, she used to do that. Look, at the end of the day, that woman shot you out of her body. Shut your mouth. That's what the Most High saying, right? Now, he ain't saying if they telling you, go and eat this pork chop sandwich, you need to do it. No, he just saying, look, sometimes when you're around elders, right? Think back in the day before everybody knew what we knew now. You go around elders for the so-called holidays or holidays, and they just laying into you. Sometimes you supposed to just sit there, shut up, and take it. And be quiet. That's it. Right? Verse 5. Whoso honor his father shall have joy in his own children. The Most High not even going to give you children unless you even honoring your father anyway. That's why a lot of people are walking around, whether if it's male, female, right? Man or woman, and he ain't gave you a child yet. Well, I don't want one. I don't want this. Okay, well, cool. He wasn't going to give you one anyway. Or you trying and you keep having problems, right? Miscarriages and this, and then you got to go other measures. Well, it's still something that you're not doing. Now, this is just one of the judgments, right? So I'm just going through one, right? And when he maketh his prayer, he shall be heard. So look at that verse 5 again. Whoso honor his father shall have joy of his own children. Because you and your child come from your daddy. And when he make his prayer, he shall be heard. The word shall is a commandment. So if you out here and you disrespecting your father, your parent, if they ain't did, one of the things I mentioned, the Most High ain't even hearing your prayers. That's why ain't nothing got answered, right? He that honor his father shall have a long life. And he that is obedient unto Yahweh shall be a comfort to his mother. Why? Because eventually you're going to end up what? Lacing your mama up, giving her game. What the Lord Yahweh shall end up doing? Lacing up Mary, giving her game. Right? He that feareth Yahweh will honor his father. So, it says, what's the beginning of wisdom, right? The fear of the Lord. right? He that fear Yahweh, you will honor your father. So I run into this a lot with sisters and brothers. And a lot of them, first, well, my daddy, he wasn't around. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. I ain't trying to hear that. I get off the phone or the Zoom or whatever. I cancel it immediately. Because of this. That means you don't fear the Most High. You don't even have respect for your own daddy who shot you out. How you going to have respect for the Father in heaven? That's what he's saying. How you going to have respect for him? You can't even see the Most High. So you could say, well, he ain't around. Okay, well, your daddy, you can see, like, he's right there. He's a phone call or email away. You got to call. Why you didn't drive to him? Why you didn't pull up on him? This is the reason a lot of people are dealing with judgments right now, right? Right. He that feareth, verse 7, he that feareth Yahweh will honor his father and will do service unto his parents, right? As to his master. He's saying, look, you're going to do service unto them. Dang. And I'll take this a step further. Even going, way back to, adolescence and all, every woman I've ever dealt with, I always ask about their father and what's their connection to their daddy. You ain't never made him nothing to eat. You ain't never went and bought him drawers, socks, tank tops, wife beaters. You ain't never just took your daddy to eat. You don't go to brunch with your daddy every now and then. You do it with your homegirls. Why? Because that's eventually how they would treat you and your son. And let's say if you have a daughter, that mindset will transfer over to your daughter on how she gonna treat her own father and her own husband and her own male children. So it goes deeper. It's an order with everything. So the Most High is perfect in order, right? Because a false balance is an abomination, right? Verse 8, honor thy father and mother, both in word and in deed, even if they're wrong. Let's say now, for a lot of people who are in the truth, if your parents are wrong about something, if they ain't asking you to break the commandments, be quiet. Hush. Go over there and run to the store and pick me up this. Oh, and my mom has it. If it ain't the Shabbat, what's the problem? Go get it. Shut your mouth. Do it. It's literally that simple. It's not hard at all. Right? Honor both thy father and thy mother, both in word and in deed, that a blessing may come upon you from them. Now, this goes back to Numbers chapter 30 and chapter 36. Your parents, especially your father, he can remove and take away any idle word that come out of your mouth. He could protect you in the spiritual world. All of that. This is why he's saying that. So a lot of people don't know that. Well, my father doesn't know the Most High. People who are prideful in this truth now and wonder why their lives are in shambles. Well, they just in the scripture, I think it's Matthew chapter 10. The Lord says, love your enemies. But he says your enemies shall be of your own household. You're a woman, you don't have a house. The house you come from is the house of your fathers. Matter of fact, I ain't going to roughly paraphrase that. We're going to go right to it and we're going to get there. I think that's Matthew 10 and verse 34. Right? Matthew 10. Let me get down to it. 34. Right. Think not that I'm come to send peace upon earth. I come not to send peace, but a sword. A sword does what? It's like a knife. It divides. But you divide your sandwich every morning. You cut your fruit up. You divide it, right? For I come to set a man at variance against his father, right? And the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, right? A man's foes shall be of his own household. It's going to be of your own household. Matter of fact, there's a better one that I wanted. I think that's in Luke. There's a better one I wanted. It goes more in detail. It's in Luke chapter 6. Right there, verse 27. But I say unto you which hear. This is why you never hear the Lord Yahweh shall order Most High say the word listen. They say hear, because hear involves actions. Listening means nothing. Right? That's why women are always going, listen to me, listen. No, no, for what? They don't even understand. Hearing involves actions. All right. But I say unto you, which hear, love your enemies. The enemies he's talking about are the enemies of your own household. It's going to be your family members. When you come into this knowledge of the truth, when you come into an understanding of what food you're supposed to eat, you're not supposed to take certain jabs and vaccines and things like that. Your family going to start to look at you crazy. They're going to start to outlaw you. But what he say, you must still love them. You got to still love them. Because when you know better, you do better. And the Most High could have gave that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to somebody else. Right? You got to understand and know that they don't know what you know. Right? Neither do they understand what you understand. So you got to still love them. You got to show patience. Like that's why I said you got to show patience with them as I showed with you. It's the same way. That's love. That's breaking generational curses. As a matter of fact, we're going to get into that. Let me go back and we're going to wrap up Sirach 3. I think I was in verse 9, right? For the blessing of the father established the houses of the children. Because you come from your father's house. That goes right what I was saying. So the blessings of your father is going to establish the houses of the children. But the curse of the mother rooted out foundations. This is why in the book of Psalms, I'm roughly paraphrasing, David was saying like, yo, let not the sins of the mother be blotted out. Right. So if you don't have a father in the household, right, you don't, the father not in the house, this is Numbers chapter 30. Go read that, right? Everything your mother says and does, because you know women like to yap, right? They got couches in the women's restroom at most places. They sit there and yap and sit down and do makeup and witchcraft and all that. Those curses, those can go right down to the children. Look at society today. The women, they say bi, some thing is bi. The women like women and the men like men. The men put on purses and satchels and have on jeans tighter than the women. That's because most of these young men I heard today was raised by women. So the only thing they see walking and switching around the house is their mama. And then their mama walk around with shorts on, dresses on, taking pictures all in front of them. Curses. It's lost. Right? Verse 10. Glory not in the dishonor of thy father. I've had you tell me, well, forget my daddy, man. I hope he just rolls over. I don't care. Men and women. Every single time I always ask, how your father doing? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I try. Why not? Because we don't understand this. You can't disrespect your own father, but then look up at the Father in heaven and think he gonna hear you. First off, he's a man of war. Second off, he's a man. He's a man. He's not gonna allow that. There's order. He's gonna say, what you just do to my son? Who you think you are? Right? Glory not in the dishonor of thy father, for thy father's dishonor is no glory unto you. I was dealing with another Israelite, and I was like, yo, the judgment you going through, because this is the discernment, is because of your father. Look at how you talk to him. Look at how you treat him. At the end of the day, he took care of you. He wiped your butt. He cleaned up your throw up. He fed you. He put you through elementary school. What you mean, if him? You don't think the Most High heard that? Absolutely he does. That's judgment that a lot of people are dealing with because of the dishonor of their father. Well, I didn't go around my father. My mama said, who cares what your mama said? When you got old enough to get a cell phone and a car, did you reach out to your father and go try to find him to find out if all that was true? Or did you just believe? The scriptures say we ain't supposed to believe what a woman says. Did you just believe what your mama, what my mom and my aunt and my grandma said? So, did you hop in the car yourself and go find your daddy? We're in the end times. Knowledge have been increased. The Most High holding these people accountable, right? For the glory of a man is from the honor of his father, and a mother in dishonor is a reproach to the children. I don't have to read that over. That's self-explanatory. Well, I left him. He cheated on me. Or I didn't like the way he was leading me. He was doing this. Well, I left him. Okay, cool. Look at your children. Now that's going to pass down to your daughter. Now she's going to have multiple bodies. It's going to be okay to her to leave multiple men. And it's going to pass down to your son. He ain't going to know how to treat a woman because he never saw a man treat one right because one wasn't in the household. These are generational curses, right? Verse 12, my son, help thy father in his age. You 40, 50, 60, your father's still alive. He 70, 80, 90. You ain't helping him in no way. You ain't having your wife take care of him. You ain't helping him in no way. Help thy father in his age and grieve him not as long as he liveth. And if his understanding fail, he fall, get Alzheimer's. Daddy, why you doing this? Man, he just over there leaving food all in the kitchen sink for 2 or 3 days, ain't washed the dishes. Man, his understanding has failed. He gotten older. Don't talk about him. Get your butt up. Go, do something. So what, he's drinking all day or smoking or doing this? We ain't supposed to be, but this is having an understanding and a love, right? If his understanding fail, have patience with him and despise him not, right? When you are in full strength. So you in full strength. You a young man. You 20. You 30. Don't remember the scriptures say when your parents become older, you become the parent, they become the child. So they didn't despise you when you 2 and 3 months old, throwing up everywhere. They didn't take a belt and whoop you. No, they had patience with you. No, I can't feed them table food yet. Let me keep giving them some applesauce. This is why. So a lot of people, that I even deal with, right? And if the shoe fit word, it's a double-edged sword. If it strikes a cut, it strikes a cut. That's why I hop off the podcast. I hop off the Zoom. I hop off the phone call. I don't want to hear you talk bad about your parents. That's part of the reason out of the 613 laws, statutes, and commandments the Most High gave us, right? That's why one of the first 10 was honor thy father and thy mother. He was not playing when he said that. He didn't exempt you. It's that important to him. He's a man of order, right? Verse 14, right? For the relieving of thy father shall not be forgotten. You and ha-haing over him. He's saying, bro, I ain't gonna forget that. And instead of his sins, it shall be added to build thee up. And in the day of thine affliction, it shall be remembered. And your sins also shall melt away as the ice in the fair warm weather. Meaning that's how you break generational curses. Why? I forgave what you did to that young lady, to that young man. I forgave what you did to that child. I forgave all that. Why? Because at the end of the day, what you did with your mama and with your daddy, that holds weight with me, young man, young woman, young child. That holds weight with me. That holds weight that you washed their feet when they got elder, that you gave them a bed, that you wrapped them in white linen when they died. That holds weight with the Most High, right? Verse 16, he that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer, right? So they say, all sins shall be forgiven, except for blasphemy. Well, you better understand which sins, which law breaking the Most High counts as blasphemy. So by the end of this, a lot of y'all should be picking up the phone or on that highway headed to try to search, seek, find out, right? Recompense with your fathers and or your mothers. That matters. They don't have to be right. They don't have to know or understand what you understand, but that holds weight. We picked up all that hate and all that stuff here in Babylon. Look how the Edomites treat their mother-in-law and father-in-law. Oh my God, my mother-in-law's coming over. Ugh, put her in the back house. Man, we got that from them. We wasn't like that. We got that from hanging around them. For he that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer. And he that angered, right, his mother, you're cursed of Yahweh. I don't care. Did she molest you? No. I don't care what she did. That's what the Most High saying. I don't care what she did. Who are you? She shot you out of her body. Her ribs and all that expanded, pancreas and all that. And don't let her have had a cesarean, a C-section. They done pulled out all her different organs and all that. What you mean you mad at her because she didn't pay your rent one time? Who are you? right? So with that, let me go into the part of the generational curses. Salat. We're gonna go right into Ezekiel chapter 18, right? Ezekiel 18. I want to just get right into it. I'm gonna just get right to it, right? I mean, this whole chapter, right? I would encourage everyone to read this whole chapter, right? So just because, yes, we hold and we dealing with the sins of our fathers, but the Most High, as we just read, He leaves a way out, right, for everything. He leaves a way to break generational curses. So if you really love your father or love your mother, you will break the generational curses. You won't have them doing, your children doing happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy 4th of July, Happy New Year. So everybody out there you see online or anywhere and they talking about breaking generational curses, their actions will show if they're doing it or not. Right? And here's the scriptures behind it. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 14. Now, I want y'all to read up, start at the beginning, but he says, now, if he beget a son, so a man can do wickedly, but he'll have a son. He in jail, he in prison for whatever, but he got a son, right? I'm just using that as one example, right? So he got a son that see all his father's sins. So you could be in his truth now and say, dang, my daddy did that wrong. He did that wrong according to the knowledge I know now. Because when I was younger, I did wrong stuff too. So you can't hold your parents to what you know now. You know about the law, statutes, and commandments now. You can't hold them to that when you was 5, 8, 10, 12, 21, in college, this. You can't hold them to that. Why? Because your butt didn't know either. And the same Bible that was in front of them, it was also in front of you. From the moment you learn how to read, you should have had your head in these scriptures. So you can't hold them to that, but you can break it. That's love. Watch. So if he beget a son, and his son see all his father's sins, which he had done, and consider it, right? And do not such like. So he's saying, I seen my daddy was always eating pork and bacon and eggs every single morning. I'm considering it now with the knowledge I know now. What am I going to do going forward, right? So I'm just roughly paraphrasing, skip through, right? Verse 16, right? So he's saying, if you see all of that and you don't do all the things that he's saying, right? Neither had he oppressed any, he hadn't withhold the pledge, neither had he spoiled by violence, right? But had given his bread to the hungry and had covered the naked with a garment, right? Like, look, he's not helping out the homeless and doing all this and posting it on social media. Look, I'm feeding the homeless. Look what I'm doing for charity. No. You do it, be quiet, you ain't got to tell nobody, you keep it moving, right? Verse 17, that had taken his hands from the poor, that had not received usury nor increase, nor executed my judgments, had walked in my statutes, he shall not die. So he's saying, if you start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? And your upbringing, y'all didn't do it. The Most High saying, you're not going to die for the iniquity of your father. You're going to live. You're breaking the generational curse. You're not forcing your kids to do, right, Halloween. You're not forcing them. Instead of you going to the store and getting pork bacon, you're going to get beef bacon or turkey bacon. You're changing everything, because when you know better, you do better. When I was a child, I thought as a child, right? This is what he's going through, right? Now, as for his father, because he cruelly oppressed, right, spoiled his brother by violence, right, and did that which was not good amongst his people, right? Even he shall die in his iniquities. So he's saying, look, now people are like, well, wait, it just said in Sirach 3 that you can, as a child, if you're doing right and you're doing righteous, you can remove that. Well, the Most High just saying, look, he going to give every man, right, the judgment according to his works. But you can change certain things. You can break certain generational curses. That's what he's saying. All right. You say, why? Do the son bear the iniquity of the father? When the son had done which is lawful and right and kept all my statutes and had done them, he shall surely live. And what the Most High say? The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father. They say, well, wait, we bearing the iniquity of our fathers now because we in slavery. But understand, there's prophecies in the end times. Only a few, the elect, the 1/3 of Israel and the 144, only us are going to return and flip everything. That's it. Everybody else, they're going to just continue to do wickedly. So this ain't for everybody. So that's why I said when we teaching, it's only for the elect. Some people are going to continue to be disobedient to their fathers, disobedient to their mothers, not caring about reaching back out to their fathers. Well, he wasn't there for me when I was little, and he wasn't there for me, and he wasn't trying to. How do you know your mama wasn't that wicked? What if your mom was just that wicked? You grew up with her. You're going to think she's right. That's why most daughters, when they get in, start becoming a teenager and things like that, they turn against their mother. You can't have two women in the house. And then what they end up doing when they get older, going living with their fathers, like, man, I see what that nigga was saying. She was tripping. And what happens for those women who've been with it, who've been through that? What happens? You go to your daddy, and what did he always say? Yeah, I told you, man, I wanted my peace. I'm gonna try and deal with that every day. You see what I was trying to tell you? I couldn't tell you was little. Make sense? All right. So with that, I want to get right back to that in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. I want to get right back into that. Right? Oh, it's a lot. Right. So the sins of our father. This is a lot of the judgments that a lot of our people are dealing with today. Right. I didn't mean for it to go this long. I'm gonna land my plane, but a lot of the judgments you see people dealing with today. This is why the scriptures say check the fruit. The fruit means you check where a person comes from. Number one, your father is supposed to be picking your husband. This to the young ladies. Your father is supposed to be picking your husband, and he's supposed to be vetting him. Right? 7 years, 12 years, right? He's supposed to be vetting him. He's supposed to pick him. So see what happens? Most of us, we got it wrong the first time, right? Because your dad would have made sure you ain't dealing with excuse my language, but you ain't dealing with well, I ain't gonna say it. You ain't dealing with a bum. You ain't dealing with a man who ain't gonna pay all the bills in the house. You ain't dealing with a man who not gonna be there for the children, who won't take the son to football practice or basketball, or won't teach the son the scriptures, and same for the your dad would have made sure that what you doing in life, what you been, you're a welder, you're a carpenter, you're this. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I just, I sell my weed and I do this. Nah, your dad would be like, nah, you ain't dealing with him. Why? Because that nigga gonna be in jail in 5 years. It's gonna cause problems. It's gonna be instability. No. All right. So with that being said, it's with the discernment. So a lot of people, this is one of the blasphemies. Remember, all manner of sins shall be forgiven to Israel, to us, to the Hebrew people, except for blasphemy. They say, well, blasphemy of the Holy Ghost, blasphemy. That's blasphemy of the word. That's still blasphemy of the word. Let's get down to that, right? Verse 8. Right? Sirach chapter 3, verse 8. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and in deed. Because remember, I want to speak so everyone can understand. When they say the Holy Spirit, that's the comforter that gives us the understanding of the scriptures. That's only going to come back into the elect men here at the end time so we can teach y'all. So if you blaspheme the word, aka the Holy Spirit, that's blasphemy. So the Most High giving us clues all over. Look at that, verse 16. He that forsaketh his father is as a blasphemer. The word like and as, right, is a simile. They teach you that in school. Using the word like or as, that's a simile. So he's saying this is similar to that. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Doesn't matter. You could go to the grocery store and let me get that Great Value brand of Frosted Flakes, and then let me get the regular Frosted Flakes. Okay, look, it's similar, but at the end of the day, man, it's the same thing. It's wheat, it's corn with sugar on top and diabetes. Both of them gonna give it to you. Take your pick. It's still blasphemy. And let me show you another blasphemy, right? There's lessons within lessons. I'm gonna get right to it, right? That's in the book of let's go to the New Testament. Titus chapter 2. Right here. This is for our sisters. Verse, what's the whole chapter? I'll say verse 3 through 5. If our women, if you online and you posting scriptures and you talking scriptures and you're trying to describe it out, if you're doing, because a woman is not supposed to teach, because the Most High didn't give the understanding to them. Women will regurgitate what they heard or what they learned. He didn't give the understanding to them. So off top, you shouldn't be listening to any, I don't care if they Israel, you shouldn't be listening to any woman that's posting and going over scriptures because their feelings are involved. Number two, what if they're teaching and they're on their cycle? See, it's too many laws against that. They're unclean. No one's supposed to be around them. So they can't even teach on their cycle. You get where I'm going, right? Furthermore, name one Levite priestesses. Name one. Because the Levites are the priests, they're the teachers. Name one Levite priestesses. Go ahead, go to Google. Don't hold your breath because I want you to live. I tell this to all our sisters. The Most High made it so easy, so simple for our women to live on this planet. This is lessons within lessons. I'm going a little bit off topic, but he made it so simple. Our women here today, especially in Babylon, they're so focused in trying to do everything and prove they can do everything a man can do when the Most High put y'all here just to do everything we can't do, what we need help with. Y'all heard, just give birth and do this. That's it. It's all y'all got to do. I've seen it happen. I don't want to say perfectly, but I've seen it happen to where there was a sister. She was like, oh yeah, husband's at work, child up, at school. She was done cooking and cleaning by 10:30 in the morning every single day. The whole rest of the day was her. She's out brunching, doing this, shopping, doing whatever. Her day was done until the children got it. It was done. She was like, yeah, this is easy. What that means, just stay at home. This stay at home stuff is easy. They get up, go to school 6, 7:30. Boop, I'm done by 10:30. The food in the oven on warm. I already started the roast. I already started this. It's done. So when people get home, oh yeah, I serve the plates. I'm done. Yeah, that's how I'm able to maintain. It's a schedule. If you're teaching, let me get to the point. Verse 3 through 5, you see it here on the screen. This is all they have to do. It is very simple. And if you're doing anything outside of this, look how simple it is. The Most High called it blasphemy, as we just covered. It is so simple. What did he tell Eve? You could do all this over here. Just don't do that. And what did she do? Ran right over her and dealing with knowledge, wisdom. Anyway, she went right over her and did what he said don't do. Right? Aki and fellas, pay attention. You could be in a car with a woman, you tell her to make a left. She gonna go that way. She gonna point the opposite way. Or she gonna try to turn the opposite way. You can say, hey, take this exit up here. She gonna hesitate. What, this one right here? No, the next exit, not the one that's right. What? Like, did you not hear what I just said? Pay attention to that stuff. That's natural. That's in them. Because look, this is right here. I regurgitate this over probably 100 times a year. What am I supposed to do? What am I here for? What do I need to do? I say, have you read Titus chapter 2? Yeah, just do that. You're fine. Look at it. The aged women likewise, right? That they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving too much wine. Don't be white boy, white girl wasted, right? False accusers, don't be out in there babbling. Don't be out on the phone all the time. Don't be always just gossiping. Don't be out in love and hip hop and all that. This is not hard to do, right? Not giving them much wine. Teachers of good things. It didn't say the scriptures. It didn't say the word. It didn't say the laws, statutes, and commandments. And he's going to tell you what these good things are. So it's no confusion. The next verse. You're going to be teachers of good things. Right? If you was in class, you would say, well, teacher, what are those good things? And he would say, I'm glad you asked. Next verse. That they may teach the young women to be sober. Not to be, Glorilla, it's 7 p.m. Friday. It's 95 degrees. I ain't got, no. He's saying, teach them to be sober, to love their husbands. Not, I ain't got no nigga, ain't no nigga. Ain't. You see the difference from Babylon? He's saying you teach them to love their husbands and love their children. You ain't supposed to be having abortions. You ain't supposed to be doing that. It's real simple. And also part of loving your children is part of breaking the generational curses that I just discussed. Loving them is telling them the truth, not teaching them about the tooth fairy and Santa Claus flying through the sky and all them lies. Love is telling the truth. Right? If you love me, keep my commandments. The scriptures say, teach them the truth from birth. I've had many people say, well, I'm going to tell them later. They're not ready yet. Who are you to say they're not ready? Right? Yahweh Bashim Shah said, you teach them from birth. From the time they slobbing all over your shirt with the bib, you start teaching them right then. If you're old enough to eat and speak, you're old enough to learn the truth. Rule of thumb, right? To be discreet, not to be posting your swimsuit pics all over the internet saying I'm free. Not be all in Jamaica letting random strangers rubbing mud and massaging all up on your legs. That ain't discreet. You do all that in the room with your husband. Buy your little lingeries and do all that. But that's for your husband. It ain't what... If he popping you, that's your husband. Newsflash. Because a lot of people think, well, I ain't married. Nah, husband ain't the ring and the what. Newsflash. To be discreet. Discreet. Everybody ain't supposed to... If you go through your photos on Facebook or the gram and you take one swipe, if your legs, thighs, butt, boobs, all that's out, is that discreet? Remember, if the Lord was standing here today and you say, well, I'm a wife, you will present yourself as your top 10 photos, example, right? You would say, this is a wife. Could you look at the Lord in his eyes and say, this is a wife? No. He's going to be like, man, what is all this? Yeah, there's no fear though, right? Because there's no fear. To be discreet, Chaz, keepers at home. That's where the term housekeepers and all that stuff come from. They come from us. Keepers at home. Not every single weekend you posting pictures of you all out to eat. Ooh, this food's so good. Most of the women today, the younger women, they don't even know how to cook. Is that their fault? Absolutely not. Their mothers, their matriarchs dropped the ball. Absolutely not. Now, it's their fault if they don't try or learn. So the past is the past. But when you know better, you do better. You at brunch every weekend. You at the club every weekend. They got cooking classes downtown every weekend. Every city. Go to your farmer's branch. Get online and find it. So if you can do that, you can do this. So it's no excuse once you know better, right? To be discreet, Chaz, keepers at home, good, right? Obedient to their own husbands. Hey, I don't want you wearing that. If your first reaction is to rebuttal, to clap back, obedient to their own husbands, not to the pastor at the Lion Church, not to your boss at work. You wake up, you getting ready to go to work. Your husband say, hey man, don't go to work today, man. I need you stay home. Do her hair. Don't send her to school today. I need you to vacuum the floor and do this and do that, and then we're going to go eat lunch. If you hesitate, that's disobedience. That's rebelliousness, by the way, which is also witchcraft. A lot of people don't know that. Rebelliousness is witchcraft. See, there's lessons within lessons, so I'm going a little bit, right? To be discreet, Chaz, keepers at home, obedient to their own husband, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemy, right? As we just covered, right? So with that, matter of fact, I'm going to get into that later on Numbers 30, Titus chapter 2, and Numbers 36. So with that, I just want to go over at least part of the judgments that's going on now, and it's because of the disobedience and the blasphemy to our parents. You got to remove your feelings when you're dealing with the Most High. He don't care about my feelings nor yours. He cares about what he says. So with that, hopefully you brothers, few sisters have been edified. Shalom.